2026 has dawned not with a bang, but with the ominous silence before one. The question on everyone's mind, are we heading for World War III, is no longer a hypothetical for academic debate. It is the pressing, terrifying question of our time. Based on current events and expert analysis, the answer is complex. We are not definitively in a world war, but we are closer to the precipice of a global conflict than at any point since the Cuban Missile Crisis. We have entered a dangerous turning point, where a series of interconnected crises are pushing the world towards an abyss no one wants, but from which it is becoming increasingly difficult to turn back. This is the complete story of our precarious moment. The spark, a new Middle East war. The immediate trigger for the current crisis was a massive, coordinated military action. On the morning of February 28, 2026, U.S. and Israeli forces launched a large-scale attack across Iran. The initial strikes were audacious and devastating, killing Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and other senior members of the Iranian leadership. The stated objective, as voiced by former President Donald Trump, was not just to neutralize a nuclear threat, but to dismantle the regime itself, with Trump reportedly insisting on personally helping to select a new Iranian leadership. The attack was a gamble of historic proportions, and the response was swift. Iran retaliated by firing dozens of missiles at Israel and U.S. military bases scattered across the Middle East. This was not a contained strike. Iranian missiles and drones hit nations that had long tried to stay above the fray, including Kuwait, Qatar, the UAE, and Saudi Arabia. The conflict had instantly become a region-wide conflagration. The global tinderbox. Why this time is different. While a major war in the Middle East is catastrophic in its own right, its potential to ignite World War III stems from the fact that the world is already a tinderbox. We are living in what the World Economic Forum's Global Risks Report 2026 calls the age of competition, an era defined by fragmentation and confrontation, where the old rules no longer apply. The ripple effects, a world on edge. The story of 2026 is not just about the bombs falling, but about the shockwaves that are destabilizing every corner of the globe. Economic shudders. The first barometer of this crisis is the global economy. With over 20% of the world's oil and gas passing through the Strait of Hormuz, the mere threat of disruption has sent markets into a spiral of nervous speculation. Insurance premiums for tankers have skyrocketed, and the potential for a sharp spike in energy prices threatens to cripple economies still recovering from recent inflationary pressures. A continent in crisis. The Middle East itself is being torn apart. Gulf states like Qatar and the UAE, which tried to maintain diplomatic ties with everyone, now find themselves physically struck by Iranian retaliation. The conflict has breathed new life into proxy wars. In Lebanon, the fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah has collapsed, with rocket attacks and massive airstrikes intensifying daily. In Iraq, Iran-aligned militias are attacking U.S. bases, threatening to drag the Iraqi state directly into the confrontation. Meanwhile, Turkey watches with alarm, fearing a massive new wave of refugees and the potential empowerment of Kurdish separatist groups in the chaos.